Don't stress about getting your kids back to school if you're new to Colorado Springs.
We're actually at Chapita Elementary right now over in Mountain Shadows on the west side of town, which is in District 11. So District 11 is going to be your biggest school district, encompasses a lot of the west side and then also downtown too. Everybody always wants to know what's the best. This is where it gets a little subjective, I think.
Yeah.
And you can definitely look up, what's the website that you mentioned?
It was niche.com.
That's right, yeah.
Niche.com.
So that's a great website. You can find a lot of good information about schools, neighborhoods, things like that. So a great resource to check out, definitely. District 12 is probably the quote-unquote best district in town. So District 12 is the Broadmoor Cheyenne Mountain area.
Yeah.
So far southwest side of town. It's a real small school district. Then the other two that you hear the most about are Academy District 20, which is north side of town, Briargate area. If you guys have watched any of our videos, you've probably heard us talk about the Briargate neighborhood. It's kind of the main north side of Colorado Springs neighborhood. So that's School District 20. And then the other one that's even a little bit farther north up in the Monument area is District 38, another highly ranked school district within the El Paso County, Colorado Springs area. D11 is the biggest one and encompasses a lot of town. Other ones that I can think of off the top of my head, Harrison School District, I believe that's District number 2. It's kind of southeast part of town. Widefield, Security Widefield is another one. And then you have Fountain Fort Carson. I think that's District 8. A lot of military families there because of proximity to Fort Carson. It's a pretty good school district as well, from what I understand.
District 49?
49,
Falcon?
Yep, out east. So it actually goes up the east side of the Powers Boulevard, and then it extends all the way up to Falcon. So it goes way out to the east and north of kind of Colorado Springs proper.
Yeah. 49. There's not 49 districts.
No, there's not. I have no idea how they come up with
these
this
numbers.
this numbering system at all. So yeah, it's not a sequential order. It skips over the place.
You have clients that move from another part of town into District 12. Do you have to move into District 12 to go to those schools?
That's a good question. No, you don't have to.
Exactly. True.
Yeah,
Yep.
see,
Yep.
this is, you don't have
I knew
to.
the answer.
In Colorado, there's something called choice in. So you don't have to go to the school that your address would be assigned to. You can opt into another school. Now, some downfalls of that are the bus isn't going to come pick you up. So mom or dad are going to have to take you to go to school and go pick you up. So that's kind of a logistical pain. Because a lot of those districts, like the ones we mentioned, have a lot of demand. First choice goes to the kids that live in the district, and then if they have slots left over or more classroom space, then your kiddo can choice in, and if you take them to school, then you can go there. From what I understand, District 12 was really hard to choice into because it's a smaller district. There's not as many schools. Choice in is a big thing in Colorado for sure. Yeah,
I think it's like one of 13 states. It was not a thing in Texas, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm from Ohio originally. It was definitely not a thing there. We have kind of 3 different types of schools, right? Like we have public school, private school, and then we have what we call charter schools. So
what are charter schools?
Charter school, it's funded by the state, so you don't pay any money to go there. They have kind of more leeway on how they want their curriculum to be set up. My little guy, he'll be going into 1st grade this year. He goes to the Classical Academy here. It's a charter school, which is free, but it's smaller class sizes and just different curriculum that kind of more supports the way I think, to put it bluntly. The downfall with most charter schools, somebody told us this, they gave us the advice. They said, as soon as your son's born, put him on the list.
Really?
We put that dude on the list when he was 2 weeks old. We filled out the application for the Classical Academy, and he barely got a slot in kindergarten.
Really?
He actually wasn't going to have a slot, and there were enough people that canceled right before school started. 5 years later. There's 3 elementaries and then 1 middle school and 1 high school campus. They're open to anybody, anywhere across El Paso County. So you can live far south side of town. All the Classical Academy campuses are on the north side of town.
Do charter schools do like bus systems, like public schools?
No, so that's the other thing too, is that it's kind of like you choice into a district that you're not part of. So we have to take them to school and pick them up every day. There are some great public schools in the Colorado Springs area. Were you public school? Private school?
Private school.
Private school.
I'm a little private school
Right.
rat. Yep. The pop star. Prince of Peace.
So what do you think about having been down that road? Because we have a couple private schools here in Colorado Springs.
There's one like over by the Broadmoor. It's supposed to be a really good school.
There's Colorado Springs Christian School, which I think is a fully private school. My wife went to a Catholic school when she was a little girl. So I think that's just kind of what a lot of private schools are.
I did the Catholic school route throughout middle school, high school. I'm very fortunate to have like gone to private school. I feel like you kind of have to say that whenever you're like, I'm very blessed. But it kind of put me in this like little bubble. Call it like the Plano bubble, right? So my little suburb. And I was very disconnected. Like I would hang out with friends from public school and they seemed a lot more mature. It probably protected me from some things. Like drugs were not really a thing. It was good in a lot of ways, but I do think that I wasn't exposed to a lot of things that maybe some kids that had gone to public school were exposed to.
No, that's fair.
Good and bad.
There's pros and cons to everything, right? So just know that Colorado Springs, if you're moving to the area and you're thinking about it, You've got public schools, you've got charter schools, and you have private schools.
And homeschool. Homeschool is always an option. It's actually a lot more common here.
It is. It's becoming even more popular since the COVID situation. So I think a lot of people have kind of moved that way. I say this jokingly that like when I think of homeschool kids from back in the day, it was like the kids that like had to stare at their shoes to talk. Like
they're socially awkward.
Yeah. So you kind of felt bad for them, right? Not the case anymore, man. Like there's homeschool kids that are on athletic teams because you can play on the athletic team of the school that you would normally go to or whatever.
That's cool.
So there's some uniquenesses to that now. But yeah, that's another option that I didn't really think about, honestly. So homeschooling, private, charter, public, and homeschool.
Yes. Kyle was telling us about this earlier, but there's a high school here called The Village. And it's like
Village High School,
partially online. The students can pick their classes. They have some really interesting curriculum. I was talking about one that's like international food.
Cuisine, right?
International cuisine. So you like study a country, study their food, and then you go eat at a restaurant that has that kind of
That's
food.
pretty cool.
Pretty dope, yeah.
And like the whole, like the hybrid setup where it's like in school, but then also like out of like remote learning. There's a lot of people, younger people, kids that come to train for the Olympics, be it gymnastics or whatever else. But they're doing 2 practices a day. They can't go to school from 7:30 to 3:30 every day. So they have this program, the Village High School, where you can be there and then do everything remotely if you can't do it otherwise. So it is a pretty cool option. Yeah, the Village High School. That's a little district overview, kind of the different types of schools. Start times. I'm going to show my age a little bit, but I swear when I went to school, it's like you started Labor Day and you were done at Memorial Day. It seems like it just keeps getting earlier and earlier. The TCA starts, I believe it's August 16th or 17th, depending on what grade you're in.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty common for most of the districts in town. I think it's like that 3rd week of August is start time, somewhere in that week. For that choice and thing we were talking about, you don't have to do it before school starts. You can try to choice in afterwards. So if your move to Colorado Springs date doesn't line up with before school starts and it's actually a little bit after, you can still try to choice in. Just that list may be shorter for the opportunity.
District 20, you can still apply up into September 22nd.
Like a full month after, a month after school starts. So that's
I don't know how that works because, like, you know, you have to be there for like a certain amount of days.
Right.
So if you miss a whole month,
you have to bring like something from your last school.
If you know the answer, leave it in the comments.
So that's a little bit about start times. That's pretty straightforward. We get that question a lot. That does vary a lot. So my little guy got out of kindergarten before Memorial Day. I think everybody else got out like the week after. A lot of the public school districts, I think it's like the 1st week of June. Start dates. There's actually some controversy about this right now because District 20, and I think a couple other districts are trying to switch around the times of when high schoolers and middle schoolers start in elementary. Because typically it's been elementary starts later.
You mean like start date or like
start time? Like daily time to start. Yeah, there's been all kinds of scuttlebutt about this. So little kids start even earlier.
Really?
Which I don't see that happening. But anyway,
that's interesting.
So there's a lot of parents that are all kinds of in a tizzy about this. But I should have looked that up more. I don't have any more info, but I just remember that this was a thing coming out of last school year. That was a big deal. So
interesting. So
start dates and start times. It's like 8:30 and 7:30, I think, elementary and then high school. I got another one. Buses. If you are in the district, if your kid's going to the school that is the school for your address, then full bus service, kind of normal thing like it always is. If you want your kid to go to the same district, but it's maybe like a different elementary school, I think you can either take your kiddo to the elementary school or you can take them to another pickup location, you know, where they're picking up other kiddos. Your kid can get bused.
Okay.
Kind of normal bus situation. If you're charter or private or out of district, then you got to take your kid to school. Those are probably the biggest 5 things that people ask us when they're trying to figure out getting settled in Colorado Springs as it has to do with schools. But whenever you're going to enroll your kiddo, especially if it's charter or out of district, the earlier the better.
Back to school shopping.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't want to be going into Target like the 1st week of August.
Man.
It's going to be a madhouse.
Madhouse, and you're not going to get those supplies. My kid, it had to be number 2 Ticonderoga pencil. It'd just be a yellow number 2, man.
Do people still even go to Target for back to school shopping, or do they just do all that stuff on Amazon now?
I think Amazon. Whenever you see those back to school things in Walmart or Target or whatever, and you're thinking like, it's nowhere close to school, get the stuff then.
Yeah,
because if you wait, it's not going to be there anymore. So I think if you get enrolled and you know what class he's going to be in, on the charter school side, they definitely encourage parents or sometimes even mandate that they come in and have like a meeting, a preschool start time meeting with the parents. And then you get to meet the teachers and everything. That's a big thing that parents like to do. At least the ones that we've talked to is, hey, I just want to go meet the teacher. New to the area, really don't know anything that's going on necessarily. So especially the people that are new to the area, they kind of want to go talk to the teachers. So I think that's something you could definitely try to do for sure. And then there's greaterschools.org. That's another one you can definitely check out to kind of see how These different ranking systems for school districts, they vary kind of what their criteria is. A lot of it's like test score based and stuff like that. And then there's niche.com, because I think it takes in reviews as well of the school. So it's kind of a better picture, I think.
Ratemyprofessor.com.
Okay,
so you can kind of do some research on like the individual teachers.
Yeah.
Might be more pertinent for like high school, definitely a thing in college, but something to check out. Ratemyprofessor.com.
Hey, we're the local experts, man. I've been living here almost 20 years across the team. We got a whole lot of expertise in different areas of town and different stages of life. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, call, text, email, hit us up in the comments down below. We just want to make sure you get all the information to make the best decision as you move here to Colorado Springs. If you have any questions about schools, tips, tricks, don't wait too long because it's coming up pretty quick.